Hello everyone and welcome to the Mind, Body, Soul Evolution, and hello to our beautiful air signs. Thank you for your patience. This is your reading for the month of July. So this is for our Geminis, our Libras, and our Aquarians. I apologize for the noise. The dishwasher was going, the air conditioning is coming on and off. So, but before we get started, I want to just tell you, I went to get a glass of water for myself, right? But the first glass I pulled out of the cabinet has a crack in it. I don't know if you can see that. It kind of goes around into a little swirl. It comes to the front, well, I'm considering the front a peak, and it goes around a little bit. So I don't know what that means. I mean, it could just be a cracked glass. It could be a sign for me personally. I don't know. And this morning when I got up, there were 2 doves on my deck. So you never know. But I just thought I'd bring that up. So let's get to it for our air signs. There's a lot happening in July, and I'm giving pretty much the same introduction for all the elements because I want to make sure that everyone gets to hear the events, the happenings, especially since, Uranus is going to be entering Gemini on July 7th, and it's going to stay there till 2033 with a little bit of back and forth. So July, what can we expect for our month of July in the universal celestial space? We have a Mercury going retrograde on July 17th. We have a Mercury cazimi and meteor showers. So a lot happening, a lot of disruption. A little bit, right? So Uranus enters Gemini on July 7th. And it's going to stay there again until 2033. There will be a little retrograding back and forth, but ultimately its position will stay in Gemini until 2033. So what can we expect, right? We have disruptions in our communication, our technology, our thoughts. However, this also offers opportunity for change and innovation, the way we communicate, right? And Mercury is going to be going retrograde just 10 days after Uranus enters Gemini. And Mercury retrograde is about your communication, your transportation, your finances. So it's a time to slow down and redirect how you communicate. What is your communication style? And can it use improving, or there's some things you need to change about that? So this is all going to be a little more amplified as Uranus goes into Gemini. So again, we're being asked to be adaptable. Now it's harder for the signs that are not mutable signs, but Gemini is a mutable sign. So just be a little more adaptable and embrace new ideas, especially, artificial intelligence is making a huge rise. So that's not going to stop. That is here to stay, and that is going to really expand greatly up, through 2033 and beyond. But we're going to see the greatest changes happening in these next few years. Transportation, the way we get from one place to another. It was walking, and then it was bicycles or whatever it was, motors, scooters, cars, and now our cars are from gas to electric. So the way we get from one place to another. And for some, it will also mean an enhancement in your astral travels or your astral projections. That's a whole nother video. But if some of you are experiencing that, don't be surprised if that power or ability starts to grow and get stronger for you. We can also see revolutionary changes, right, in our technology. But all of this is really meant to break us free from being stuck, right? From being stagnant. We have, and myself, I am the same way for a lot of things. We have routines, and we like our routines. We like things in a certain order, which is great, right? However, we can get stuck in a routine, and then it's hard for us to change out of it when the world around us is changing and we are not, because we want things to go the way we want. But the world is changing. So we're being asked to get a little more comfortable, getting out of that space of things have to be this way and having another way to navigate through this world. Okay, so the full moon, we'll have a full moon in Capricorn on July 10th. So right after Uranus enters Gemini, but just before the Mercury retrograde. The full moon will be in Capricorn on July 10th. So this is about career, ambition, and authority. Now, I posted the earth signs yesterday. Capricorn came in really strong. There's an uprising in Capricorn energy, specifically feminine Capricorn energy. And I invite you to go look at that. I had a lot of spiritual activity in the room yesterday. So it's going to be very interesting what comes up for our Capricorns. But that's going to be highlighted during the Capricorn full moon. Okay, Mercury goes retrograde, right, July 17th until August 11th. So retrograde, right, time to reflect, or time to reevaluate. Revisit the past issues, and maybe not initiate new projects. Maybe start the process of the thoughts, right? Because you're thoughtful leaders, right? So maybe not stop the thoughts, but maybe not quite take action until the retrograde phase is done. On July 20th, Mars conjoins the South Node in Virgo. So this is us looking at, confronting our old patterns, gaining awareness, and releasing old habits or unproductive habits or things that are no longer serving us. I just talked about, like, we're used to routine. We like our schedules. But the world does not operate on schedules. The universe does not operate on schedules per se. It operates on cycles. And a lot of what is happening in the world now, some of it feels like major disruptions, and some of it feels like a world gone mad and chaos. I'm really getting the download that the world, the universe, Mother Earth, is trying to get back to the natural state of what it is. And in order to get back to the natural state of our cycles, we have to disrupt and pull out the stuff that is out of alignment. So this is why we're seeing all this chaos. I don't know if other tarot readers and astrologers are agreeing with me. I have not heard them speak about this. But there's a major disruption because, again, we're getting out of routine and going back into the way things go universally, which is in our cycles. So when the South Node in Virgo, Mars conjoins the South Node in Virgo, those old patterns and unproductive ways of being, we're being asked to let go and to trust the deeper self within, that spiritual element, or whatever it is you call it, that intuitive space. All of that is being called to the forefront. But when there's resistance, then it gets a little chaotic because the universe is trying to pull out that resistant energy to line us back up. So, and again, so July 24th, we have the new moon in Leo. That's going to feel really yummy and delicious. Leo starts on July 22nd, and just 2 days later, we have the new moon in Leo, and it will still be during the Mercury retrograde, but it's going to feel good. And July 28th and 29th, we have our meteor showers, and July 30th is the Mercury cazimi with the sun. So this is a powerful time for insights, inspiration, and clarity. So getting clear on all the things, especially for our big thinkers, our air signs. So we're going to go right into it. We're going to start off with our Gemini friends. Hello, Gemini. And we're going to start off, we have the Fairies deck. I have the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot because I just think we need a little grounding. And we'll close off each sign with the Keepers of the Light Oracle deck. So Gemini, how are you? How you doing? Our first air sign, our first thoughts of inspiration, right? Our first form of logic, or putting things into a linear space. So what fairy energy is working with our Gemini friends? And hello everyone, happy summer. Hope everyone is doing well. If you have any questions about this video or for any other videos, if you want some clarity for your personal journey, feel free to reach out. So this is for Gemini, but this is for all of our air signs, your sun, moon, rising, and your Virgo. So let's see what fairy energy is guiding our Geminis. This is for the month of July. You have a whole private video highlighting the whole summer. Rise above problems. Oh, look at that. So most problems are earthbound and the solutions are more in the celestial or the universal realm. But let's see what this says. Rise above problems. When you're in the middle of a problem, the solution often evades you. See a situation from a higher perspective and you may see a new way out. Have you been feeling frightened by a seemingly unsurmountable situation? Your fears and tensions may have created a negative obsession where you think about the problem continually. And yeah, right. That is the human nature. I don't know that that's human nature. I think we're conditioned to do that. That's my personal take. I think we are conditioned to do that. Although you search endlessly for solutions, none seem forthcoming and hopelessness creeps into your consciousness. Whether your situation seems big or small, this card asks you to step back for an instant so that you can better see creative solutions. Instead of continually working on the issue, mentally see yourself giving problems to the universe. Like completely letting go of the envelope that you're mailing. Surrender the issue completely. Imagine how the fairies might see your problem. How would your problem look from their perspective? Or if this is not relevant to you, an outside perspective. Feel the sense of faith and hopefulness that they lend you, and know that these positive emotions fuel the complete resolution of an issue. So your affirmation for our Geminis: my heart, my mind, my life, and everyone in it are perfectly at peace right now. So rising above the situation or the problem. And I'm going to go back to yoga and meditation. Yoga moves the stress out of the body, and meditation helps to the mind or your soul, your subconscious, to receive the answers or the solutions to the problem or what we perceive as problems. It's all perceptive. So let's see what the Tarot holds for our Gemini friends. We're rising above the problems. Is there any guidance as to what problems they are, or anything else that the cards want to hold? And a lot of problems, especially for our air signs, because you are the thinkers. That is your natural thing. Things kind of loop in the mind. Sometimes things are not problems. They're just being perceived as that, because maybe sometimes we feel like there should be a solution, and maybe the solution is just to let the thing pass. I say this all the time. Not all problems are ours. Not all storms are ours. Sometimes our resolution to it is just to sit and see what happens and let it pass. You don't have to solve everything. Ace of Swords. New way of looking at things. I love when these cards just kind of jump out and they say, oh, here you go. This is what you need to know right now. So let's see what else. The Star. Strength. Two major arcana cards. Both face up. And you have at the root of your deck, Three of Wands. So dare to dream, Gemini. Dare to dream. Dare to feel the excitement of what happens when you can rise above the problem or the perceived problem. And that word is coming into me very strongly. And I don't know why. Some of you will know why, and some of you will not. Some of it you will resonate with, I should say. Some of you will not. So rising above your problems, dare to dream, put into action a new way, maybe. So let's see what we have, though. Nine of Swords, the Hierophant, Eight of Swords, Ace of Swords, the Star, High Priestess, Strength, Ace of Wands, two Aces, Knight of Cups, Three of Wands. All right. Okay, Geminis, you know I love you. You know I love you. This is going to come right back. And this happened yesterday. I forget who I was reading for. Oh, which earth element I was doing. So rising above your problems. What is keeping you awake at night? What are you looping through your mind? And I can say this because most of my Gemini friends, they try to outthink a situation. Like that's this natural part of you, right? Our air signs. We want to outthink the situation, or we think that there's a logical solution or approach. So what's keeping you up at night? When you take the deeper dive, the Hierophant, when you lean in, you have the Hierophant and the High Priestess. These are divine counterparts. Very rarely do the two of them come out together in a reading. It's almost unheard of. I don't know that I've ever, in all the years I've been reading, maybe once or twice, I don't know that I've ever had them come out, though. When you lean into your higher consciousness, right? That system outside of yourself, outside of the logic, but into the intuitive space, you find out that, and I said this in the beginning, perceived problems, sometimes you are manifesting something to be greater than what it is. If you keep playing, and look, I've been guilty of this most of my life, playing the same thing over and over and over again in a loop and a loop and a loop, and then it becomes even more true. It's when I changed my perspective, and that was through yoga. I'm going to say this again, in meditation, that's when my perspective started to change. I started to feel a higher calling, something that you couldn't see or touch that is tangible in this earth, but this was an inner knowing. And when that starts to happen, then you have faith, full faith in yourself that you are strong enough. Gemini, you are so strong. Don't let your strength be diminished by other people's opinions or thoughts, or by the narrative that you're telling yourself. Don't believe everything that you think, because thoughts are not generally always true. They're to get your attention, and then what you do with that is another thing. Once you start feeling into the internal absolute knowing, faith in yourself is restored. You find that inner strength. You will let your light shine. You go from here, like the nightmare, like, oh my gosh, I cannot do this, to hope, to the light. So for some of you, there may be a Leo influence, which would be excellent for our Gemini friends. There could be a very strong Leo presence or influence around you. New inspirations coming your way. You start to trust your intuition, and you start to trust your heart. And this is probably a big thing for some of us, or for some of our Gemini friends. Trusting your heart is hard because it's not a logical thing. You're diving deeper. And when you start to access the spiritual realm, none of it makes any sense in this physical world. When you go into your meditations, if you cross over through the veils, It makes so much sense there because it's this deep, innate feeling of knowing. Here, in this world, it doesn't make any sense. And that can be where some of the confusion comes in, right? And sometimes you don't know how to reconcile that. But it's okay. You're going to see things clearly. You're going to start cutting through the stuff that is not true. You're going to learn to trust yourself. New sparks. Trusting yourself. Seeing a new vision for yourself, Gemini. This is great, Gemini. I love it. What a lovely way to start off our air signs. Perfect. Let's open up your Keepers of the Light deck. Let's see what Keeper of the Light is guiding our Gemini signs. I have an idea. Somebody's coming into my mind here. For some of you might be working with Archangel Michael. He's just popped in to the room right now. So some of you are slaying or battling a dragon or a demon, whatever it is you want to call it. That's not true. That's created up here, but it's not out here. So some of you, Archangel Michael is standing over my right shoulder. Some of you might see him. Some of you may not. But he is here. So let's see what the Keeper of the Light is guiding our Gemini friends. And of course, let me open up the book. Okay, you had divine counterparts, the Hierophant, and the Empress. They are the highest of the counterparts, the highest of the divine counterparts in the Tarot. And you got them, Gemini, like straight on out the gate. And what guidance do you get? Higher learning. And let me see if I can pronounce this name. Melchizedek. It says, you have learned from experience. More inner study is now required for further progress. This is your inner study. Your inner study. Melchizedek is a high priest who is mentioned in the Bible's book of Genesis and many other sources as well. He is here to assist the earth through the ascension process, which is basically moving everyone and everything back to a state of love and harmony. So in the very beginning of this, I said with all this chaos and upheaval happening in the world, it's to bring us out of the state we are in of routine and back into the natural state of cycles. And this is part of it, right? Love and harmony. He appears with a bright light around him and a long white beard to match his ancient high priest ways, and is said to have his own order of light-filled priests who are able to help spiritual people develop their gifts and qualities. As he works on a high energetic level, we can connect with him through sacred geometry and by focusing on ancient star-shaped symbols. Now, Archangel Michael came in. Archangel Metatron is the archangel for sacred geometry. So, VG, I know you're not a Gemini. You're probably not watching this, but a little nod to my friend VG, because every time she and I get together, Metatron comes in. So, Gemini. That is your reading. It is a lot, and I get it, especially if this is not in your wheelhouse, in your perceived wheelhouse, I should say. Again, it's perception, right? So Gemini, if you have any questions, if you want to take a deeper dive into what this means for your personal journey, reach out. Let's get you on the schedule. Let's see what it is. We'll do a discovery call. We'll see what it is you need, and we'll get you going. We'll get you, guide you into that higher perspective of yours. So Gemini, that is your reading. Let's go on to our Libra friends. Hello, Libra. Let's see what fairy energy is working for our Libra friends today, or for this month of July, I should say, not just today. And because this is the reading for the month of July, the energy doesn't stop. Like July 31st, this reading just doesn't come to a halt, right? The energy of this continues. So just know that. So let's see what energy, what fairy energy is guiding our Libra friends, right? The balancers of justice, the peace seekers, the harmony creators. Yeah. They love all that stuff. They want everyone to be happy and to be calm and to feel supported and loved. So, Libra, you have moving forward fearlessly. This is the third time out of the 4 elements, 3 of the elements this card has come out in. So this might be just a universal message. But let me read this for you. So there's a little fairy. You are making big breakthroughs in your life by putting your divinely inspired ideas into action. Trust that you are guided each step of the way. Those gut feelings, dreams, and strong impulses you've been getting aren't just examples of wishful thinking. They represent the germination of new projects and situations that are vehicles for your divine life mission. Don't ignore these gifts, which come on the wings of repetitive, strong thoughts and feelings. So this thing that keeps calling you, and you just keep getting these nudges, right? This is what this is. The fairies ask you to honor your inner feelings by taking at least one step today in the direction of making your dreams and desires a reality. Fearlessly take one step to dismantle any part of your life that is out of integrity. Take another step toward realizing your heart's desire. Even a tiny step that is remotely related to improving your life will make you feel like you're soaring with the fairy realm. Keep taking one step a day, and soon your dreams will be a reality. And your affirmation for our Libra friends: I move forward fearlessly, trusting that each step I take is perfectly guided. Moving forward fearlessly. All those gut feelings, all those inspirations. And Libras are very creative. They're highly intuitive. They're very creative because they are the seekers of balance and harmony. So, yeah, Libra, let all those ideas and inspirations, just work towards them one step at a time. So let's see what the tarot holds for our Libra friends for the month of July. Yeah, I love this for you, Libra. Move forward fearlessly. King of Wands, Queen of Cups. There was too many to pull all of them. King of Wands, Queen of Cups. Very interesting. Both of them came up. They are not necessarily divine counterparts. But it is about balance, right? The King of Wands is heat, fire, passion, and energy. And the Queen of Cups is about the heart, the intuition, the internal guidance. So the two of them can balance each other out. Okay. Four of Pentacles. My first inclination on this is watch your spending, but let me see. And Page of Cups. So new intuition. And you have the Magician underneath of that. Okay, we're going to stop there. Or else we'll be using the whole deck. Let's see what you have for our Libra friends. Okay, the Fool. New journey ahead, right? So some of you, as you move forward with these new inspired ideas, as you move forward taking inspired action, Some of you may be going into a completely new direction. Seven of Pentacles, King of Wands, Ace of Wands again, Nine of Cups, Three of Hearts, Four of Cups, 4 and 5 of Cups. Okay. I'm getting the sense that some of our Libra friends might get a little hesitant. Things might start to go well. And then I'm going to have to pull out the other deck, I think. And you might get the feeling that that you need to pull back, because you have moving forward fearlessly, and that's the Fool, right? Like, I'm on an adventure, I'm on a journey. Where am I going? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because you know what? The Magician is the very next card in the Tarot after the Fool. It's the Fool and then the Magician, and then it's the High Priestess. And the Magician says, go ahead, take your journey, because you have everything you need. You have all the elements. The Magician is the alchemist, one of the alchemists in the Tarot. And the Magician knows that you have all the other elements. You have your natural element, your air sign, but you also have earth, fire, and water. And when you're not quite sure if you're getting stuck on a loop on your air sign, pull some of the other elements out to help to guide you. Right? Again, as you move forward fearlessly, you start creating. And you take a moment and you go like, what am I even creating? Some of you may not even realize what you're creating, and that's okay, because there's inspiration, there's intuition, more inspiration, fulfillment. So all in all, you're creating a life of fulfillment. You're creating a life that is beyond the dream that you have. So if you're taking this inspired, moving forward fearlessly, taking inspired action, it might be moving, some of you might feel like it's moving you away from the dream that you thought you had, because there is a better dream for you. And for some of you, that could cause some hesitation. Right? You could start, for some of you, there's going to be a step back, or you're going to feel like you're holding yourself back because, I wanted to live in Indiana. Let's just say I wanted to live in Indiana, but like this inspired action is taking me to Greece, and you're like, wait a minute, that's a completely different. That's not the dream I had, but this is stepping out of this and allowing yourself to be guided, because you have all the elements that you need. You have this huge inspiration, this huge passion for adventure, right? The Fool is an adventurer. You have the guidance, you have the intuition. Everything is going great. And some of you might take a step back and say, oh, whoa. This is not what I chose for myself. And you take a moment, right? Take a moment. And just sit with it for a little bit. And sometimes help comes and you go like, I'm not quite sure. Until you realize, maybe I have to let things kind of go, because there's inspired action coming behind me. There's intuition guiding me. And where I thought I was going is not the direction. Right? You're being cautious now. 4 of Pentacles, hanging on. Page of Cups, but you still feel that excitement of energy to move forward. I'm going to pull out the other deck, Libra, because I'm just getting a feeling you need a little more, or I need a little more for you, because there's some indecisiveness. And this, I don't think it's a big thing. I think it may become more of a surprise than a fear. I don't think there's a fear. I think there's a hesitation. And it might come as a really big surprise for some of you. And you go, wait a minute. What? Me? Who, me? There could be also a bit of value or self-worth. You're like, can I trust my heart? You have the Three of Swords here. And that's a heartbreak card, and that's what they say. But sometimes we break our own hearts. Right? Sometimes we break our own hearts by stopping ourselves, by not trusting. So let's just pull a couple more cards from this deck and see what is holding our Libras. And some of our Libra friends have been going through a lot. And maybe there's been a lot of quick action. And if things start moving too quickly again, maybe you feel like you need to take a moment, take a step back before you move on to the next portion. And that's fine. You can always do that. You can always do that. I'd rather you stop and pause and recollect than to completely cut yourself off. Okay. Knight of Wands. More wands, right? More excitement. So we're excited about this next venture. But we're also kind of like, I've been doing so much now. Let's see what comes up here. 10 of Cups. You had the 9 of Cups here. 10 of Cups. 10 of Pentacles. Death. 10 of Swords. 9 of Cups. Libra, you have this really, I don't want to call it a lucky streak or lucky phase, but there's this portal opening up to you, where there's a rebirthing. You're getting rid of this, all of these thoughts, right? You're getting rid of all these things that are keeping you stuck. And you're moving straight into, you have 2 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups came out twice, right? I don't know. 9 of Cups, 10 of Cups. You're moving straight into, 2 9 of Cups. Fulfillment. And that is going to happen very quickly, or it's going to feel like it's happening faster than what you're ready for. But you're pivoting in a whole new way. So take a moment. Go to the 4 of Cups. Sit with these feelings for a little bit. If something is coming towards you and there's help or an offer coming and you're not ready to accept it, you don't have to. Sometimes we have to go back, go to the 5 of Cups and say, wait, I need to release this before I can receive this. And it takes some time, so be patient with yourself. Once you start to move forward and once you start to accept, because these are divine gifts coming your way, Libra. There's a lot of energy, a lot of blessings, for lack of a better word. And they're there. So even if you decide to hold back a little bit, they're not going to go away. They will wait for you. Right? They will wait for you to be ready. But once you're ready, everything's going to open up. Probably much greater than you realized was possible for you. You're going to go, oh, wait a minute, right? The fish, like, there's endless, it's endless abundance and bounty for you. This is great, Libra. I love this. Let's pull out your Keeper of the Light Oracle card. And let's see what Keeper of the Light. Okay, Dharma unfolding. And I just said there's a bounty of gifts coming. Dharma and karma. Karma is your life lessons. And so many times people say, oh, no, karma will get them. That's really not a good thing to do, because that's wishing ill on people. Dharma is your gifts and your talents, your rewards in this life. And you, right after I said that, this card pulls out. Jewel, cool, Dharma unfolding. I'm just saying, I just love when the universe says, okay, you said it. So now this is the card we will give you. I'm telling you. It's fabulous when I'm tuned in, or when the universe is talking to me in a way I can understand. Remember that you're on a path. Take one step at a time to happiness. And again, moving forward. Jawal Kul, known as the Tibetan, as in Tibetan Buddhist master. He is said to have had many incarnations, including as a devotee of Buddha himself and as one of the 3 wise men who honored the baby Jesus. Through his earthly experiences, he has learned the importance of spiritual practice and discipline and knows that the path we are on unfolds over time. Which is what I said, if it's moving too fast, take a step back. When you're ready, the path will still be there for you. He is now helping light workers follow their dharma, which is, in Sanskrit word, means right way of living. So when he appears in a reading, he reminds you that your path is unfolding as it should. Take one step at a time. One step at a time. And remember that your only spiritual function is to be happy. You are a powerful person with many lessons under your belt and a real capacity to share your wisdom with the world. Take the time to go over what you have learned recently. Recognize the strengths it has brought you and acknowledge where you have been courageous. Your journey will unfold like a beautiful lotus flower, one petal at a time. Libra, there you go. That is your confirmation, Libra. That is your reading. It's powerful, it's big, it's energetic. It's probably a little different than the path that you thought you wanted for yourself, and that's okay. And there's nothing to say that you can't do both. But one will take over. So Libra, that is your reading for the month of July. Hopefully you have found something valuable in this, or even more questions, which is always a great thing. So let's go to our Aquarius friends. Aquarius, how are you? Our last of our air signs, right? Like the big thinkers, the really sweet, gentle people. I love Aquarians. Smart, intelligent, compassionate. So let's see what fairy energy is working with our Aquarians for the month of July. And now here we go. Rise above problems. And again, second time this card came out. This came out for Gemini. So we'll go back into this. So rise above problems. Let's see. When you're in the middle of a problem, the solution often evades you. See your intuition from a higher perspective, and you may see a new way out. Have you been feeling frightened by a seemingly unsurmountable situation? Your fears and tension may have created a negative obsession where you think about the problem continually. Although you search endlessly for solutions, none seem forthcoming, and hopelessness creeps into your consciousness. Whether your situation seems big or small, this card asks you to step back for an instant so that you can better see creative solutions. Instead of continually working on the issue, mentally see yourself giving the problem to heaven's waiting hands, like completely letting go of an envelope that you're mailing. Surrender the issue completely. Then imagine how the fairies might see your problem. How would your problem look from their perspective? Feel the sense of faith and hopelessness and helpful. Feel the sense of faith and helpfulness that they lend to you, and know that these positive emotions fuel the complete resolution of an issue. Your affirmation for our Aquarius friends: my heart, my mind, my life, and everyone in it are perfectly at peace right now. So let's see how your reading goes, because that is the same card that came out for Gemini. But since you are the highest evolution of the air signs, we'll see where this guides our Aquarian friends, because we go in order, right? Gemini, and then Libra is the next evolution of air, and then Aquarius. So let's see, Aquarius, what does the tarot hold for your journey in this month of July? In this hot, steamy summer, if you're in the northern hemisphere, right? If you're in the southern hemisphere, if I have several friends in the southern hemisphere that are in their winter time. So, depending on where you're at, but let's see what the tarot is holding for all of our Aquarian friends. Nothing so far face up, Aquarius. And this happened yesterday too with Capricorn. A little mystery coming into play. And who doesn't love a little mystery, right? Balance. Okay, Two of Pentacles. Balance could be choice. Pentacles are earth signs, are associated with foundations and money and comfort and needs. But let's see what comes up. 10 of Cups. 3 of Cups. Oh, the Devil. 7 of Cups. 5 of Wands. Temperance. 4 of Pentacles. 8 of Swords. 4 of Swords. So for you, again, I'm probably going to have to pull out more cards. Okay, Aquarius, I'm sorry. I'm really getting the sense that some of you are getting the feeling that, this is going to sound weird, that life is too good. Like you're almost waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, is it possible to have everything that you want? Is it possible to have peace and harmony in your life? Is it possible to have complete fulfillment and celebration with great friends? And then the Devil comes in, right? Are we attaching ourselves to this possibility, or are we attaching ourselves to conflict? Like, are we conflicted? Are some of you feeling conflicted about the gifts that you have? Dreams can also become nightmares. Depends on how you want to fill the dream cup, right? Some of them have laurel, some of them have crystals, some of them have jewels, some of them have snakes, some of them have, ghosts from your past. So are some of you addressing, Aquarius, what if something from my past comes to take this away from me? Or what if my thoughts from my past? Because you have the 8 of Swords. What if some of my thoughts, my misbelieving thoughts, come back and turn some of this dream into a nightmare? What conflict will this cause for me? But here's the thing, and you have Sagittarius coming your way. Temperance is Sagittarius, right? And it's about balance. You have this destiny of having fulfillment, of having great friends and celebrating life, because you've been through some really hard stuff. Balance is full circle. Now, not everybody gets really devastating life and then a really positive life, or a really fulfilled life followed by a devastating life. But those of you who have been on both ends of that scale, there's a conflict sometimes of, can this really happen for me? Because of these, I think some of you are stepping away from old beliefs, or some of these old beliefs are starting to make their way to your awareness. And it's about balancing and alchemizing, right? There's only a couple alchemizing cards in the tarot. And Temperance, the Star, and the Magician are the cards that say, you can do this. You can create whatever it is that you want to create. Holding on to the past will create this. Letting that past keep you from moving forward will create this. Temperance, Four of Swords, resting, rejuvenating yourself, leaning back into your authentic self. Again, this is all going to come back to meditation. Allowing yourself that balance and that harmony. For some of you, the balance and harmony may be extremes, very deeply on one side and very heavy on the other side. And that ebbs and flows, right? It's like the boats in the water, right? They ebb and they flow. This boat is bigger, it's rising to the top. This boat is kind of going down into the valley. This one is at the crest. You're finding your way. I'm going to pull some more cards for you, Aquarius. You're finding your way on how to navigate these blessings. And there's a lot of blessings coming your way. Again, rising above problems. But again, are they problems? Perceived problems. Self-created problems. This could be your dreams, or these can be nightmares. So you're figuring out how to balance all of these things out and how to say yes to the abundance that is out there for you, to the joy, the celebration that is your right. That is everyone's right in this world. The thing is, we let society and naysayers and other people get in the way of telling us, you can't do this, you can't do that. But that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Don't listen to them. You're smarter than that. You have this, Aquarius. You're figuring things out on your terms. You've already been here. You're moving to here. Here. You're allowing this stuff in. Some of the stuff is just thoughts from your past. And let them come in and acknowledge those thoughts. And maybe you just have a conversation with the thought or journal that thought out. When did I first have this thought or idea that kept me from seeing my potential, my possibility, that kept me kind of encaged from receiving the abundance? That's a really good practice for all of us. Because when you go back to it, chances are it was never your thought. It was never your idea. It was never a part of you. It was something you heard someone else say, whether it was a friend, a teacher, a parent, family member, someone on the news, someone in a story somewhere. You may realize that it was never yours to begin with. And maybe that's the dream. Or the nightmare. The dream is that you come out knowing that nightmare was never yours to begin with. Or those thoughts were never yours. Those limiting beliefs were never yours. And you're rising above all that stuff. Gosh, I love you guys. This is fabulous. A Hierophant. Okay. 5 of Cups, right? Take a moment. You have your full cups right there. Face up, ready to be filled. Don't waste your time on the curiosity of, but what if? It's not what if. This is unknown. Until it's ready to reveal itself, it has no place. These cups are ready to be filled up for you. You have the Hermit, the 5 of Pentacles, the Hierophant. Again, back to that self-reflection. Now, self-reflection is telling you, don't let yourself be cut off from your highest ability to receive. Don't be lured by these cups here that are unknown. allow yourself to feel into the cups that are ready to be gifted to you. This is powerful stuff. You're going through a really big breakthrough right now, Aquarius. And some of you are already going through it. And I'm just going to bring at one point. We have, and again, this never happens, right? The Hierophant, right? On the root of this deck is the Two of Pentacles, which is balance and harmony. But what is right underneath of that? The High Priestess. Like, this came out for Gemini as well, although in the same deck. This never happens. You have divine balance. I don't know that these are really, it's like a divine counterpart relationship, but you have divine balance, bringing you back in, bringing you to here, pulling you, bringing you into all of this, pulling you out of this and this, and the nightmare, or the realization that the nightmare is a self-imposed nightmare. You have this divine energy guiding you, pulling you out of this. So lean in. You have the Four of Swords and you have the Hermit, both cards of reflection, of going within, of sitting, closing your eyes and sitting in quietness. I'm sorry, the lawnscapers are here mowing the lawn, so that's what that noise is. You have this divine guidance open to you, Aquarius, and Aquarius, like, you know it. You know it. The thing is, you are very in tune. So once you start to lean into that, you go, I got this. No big deal. Let's pull out your Keeper of the Light Oracle card. Let's see what Keeper of the Light is guiding our beautiful Aquarian friends as they rise above their problems. And again, Gemini got the same card, Rise Above Your Problems, and Gemini also got the Eight of Swords, self-imposed problems. Just saying. But that's okay, because you have the energy, and both Gemini and Aquarius have the divine counterparts of the Hierophant and the High Priestess to pull you out of this, to give you that guidance. I mean, you've got some really powerful energies helping you and guiding you through all of this. So this is exciting. I'm so excited for you guys. So let's see what Keeper of the Light is guiding our Aquarian friends through the month of July. Shekinah, Sacred Self. Okay. And I will show you the card. It's beautiful. It's got a white dove with, it's so beautiful. Oh, the Shekinah. Okay, hold on. So the Shekinah. Where is she? The Shekinah, Sacred Self. Just look at this. Look at that. And I said you have the hierarchy, the divine counterparts of the highest realm guiding you. And then you get the Shekinah, Sacred Self. I mean, really, Aquarius. The Shekinah is the twin flame of the Holy Spirit. No, like, you can't make this shit up, right? You just can't make this up. It's just to be impossible. It is the female aspect of the God particle or creation energy. She is more of an essence than a being, but has the ability to show herself in ways that we will understand. She is acknowledged in the sacred teachings of Judaism and is also called Sophia of Christ in the Gnostic Gospels. She is a powerful female voice of spirit who is here to bring about equality and to help the world move from the male-only image of God. She reminds us that God is all-loving and all-accepting. Whenever she appears in a reading, she points out the change makers, that would be you, the love creators and gift sharers of the world who are here to unite all hearts around the world, which is why your two divine hierarchy of the divine counterparts showed up in your reading. which is why it's telling you to rise above problems, because they are not problems. They are self-created or perceived, but they are not. Aquarius, that is your reading for July. A lot of spiritual growth, a lot of divine guidance. Air signs. This is your reading for July. Yeah, a lot of growth, a lot of surrender, right? So enjoy your month. And again, questions, comments. If you want to get clarity for your own personal journey, send me an email, put something in the comments. I'd love to know how your month of July unfolds for you. And until the next reading, always sending you light and love.